I even hope for. Come on. Honey, what are you doing here? What are you doing?
I came to clean. Oh.
Oh. Well, it's a dirty job, so I didn't do it. Now, give me a break. You know, you weren't even supposed to be back for a few more days. What happened?
Well, that's a good question. You see, the mysterious surgeon drop-off decided he'd had enough of me, and, you know, here I am.
He fired you?
Mm-hmm.
I don't get it.
That makes two of us.
Serge. Yeah, how'd it go with Nora Gannon? Excellent. You did a class job hiring her, man. Yeah, did the same thing cutting her loose, too. Huh? Oh, well, yeah, now that big brother Hank knows I'm in town, Nora might as well come on back. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing her again. In due time. Yeah, thanks again, man. Uh-huh. Ms. Olenoff, well, this is an unexpected pleasure.
Social calls can be pleasant, Mr. Glover. This is not a social call.
Guy can be wrong sometimes.
You've been bad. Very, very bad.
Oh, but when I'm bad, I'm so good.
That may be. I don't intend to find out. Now, you get this straight. It frustrates me when I have to say something twice, and you do not want to see me frustrated.
Clark, have you seen Powell?
Nope, not today, sorry.
Look, I don't want to talk to you right now.
Rebecca, just do 1 minute, okay? I'm not trying to. I just need to talk to you, all right? Something horrible happened last night.
The sergeant at the front desk said that you were working on the rape case at the hospital.
Yeah, I am.
In the parking lot.
Do you have some information?
Yeah, I do. I was raped last night at the hospital. Same place. I think by the same guy.
This isn't how you spell probate, you know. It's A-T-E, not A-I-T.
Why would I write anything about probate anyway? This is yours.
You sure?
Yeah.
Oh, because it's probate, P-R-O-B-A-I-T. It's a lawsuit about a fish.
Let's forget fish, okay? Let's forget the law, let's forget work and everything else. You know what?
No.
I've suffered without you.
No.
Yes, loneliness, sleepless nights, nutritious meals.
Oh, God. Bobby Buchanan, how could you?
Because the only packaged meals for one are those little healthy, you know, haute cuisine things. And
Listen, Buster, if I could make it through on a gallon of coffee and a bag of chips, so could you have.
well, I bought a donut. Turned out to be whole wheat.
Oh, you poor thing, my poor baby. What? Oh, okay. Who?
Ming Noodle House.
No.
Who?
Sal's Pizza.
Okay, but with anchovies. Hang on, let's negotiate, all right? I'll give up mushrooms, not anchovies.
Oh, okay, fine. If you get the anchovies, then I want the garlic, the black olives, the onions, and green peppers.
With anchovies?
I'm not the one that ordered the foul little fish. Come on, where's your counteroffer, huh?
Okay. What? Hello.
Commissioner, it's Andy Harrison. Can you get down here right away?
This better be very important.
Another rape at the hospital.
Oh, God. I'll be right there.
Now, we need to make sure you're okay.
I am okay.
Mrs. Dalton, there's just one thing that I don't understand.
One.
You're a nurse. You must be aware of the procedures that you follow when a rape victim is brought in.
I'm aware of them. I'm trained to deal with them.
Then why? Debbie, can I call you Debbie? Is that all right?
Call me whatever you want.
Well, I'll stick with Mrs. Dalton if you prefer.
No, it's okay.
I'm Andy. If you're trained in collecting evidence, then why... You must know how important it is that evidence be brought in quickly in a rape case.
Yes, I do.
You waited over 12 hours to report this rape.
Yes, I did. I wasn't going to report it at all.
Why not?
My husband, we've been having trouble.
Debbie, could you take off your glasses? You don't have to if you don't.
Oh, no, my husband doesn't hit me. The shades are just... I haven't slept. The light hurts my eyes. Anyway, I was afraid he'd get mad.
At you?
Yeah. Like I said, we're having trouble. It could have made everything worse.
Worse than being raped?
He might have thought it was my fault. Like I said.
You were having trouble.
Yeah. So I was just gonna go home, get washed, go to bed, hope it wouldn't be too long till everything healed, and then pretend this never happened.
But
I couldn't live with that. Especially since this guy...
the guy who raped you.
I think he's the one who raped Alice.
Alice Henson? You get a look at him?
Oh, no, he was wearing a ski mask. But I got a pretty clear idea who he was.
Marty gets him to sign her stinking petition. So now his name's on this list with all the others saying that I should be thrown back in prison.
Your father? He signed the petition?
I tried to talk to him, I went after him to talk. 2 seconds later, we're hollering at each other, and he starts to grab at his chest. He got a heart attack.
Is he okay?
No. And later I go to see him at the hospital, and he's hooked up to all these machines. And he could die. But all he can say is for me to get away from him. And he's got this look in his eye.
God, I'm sure he was very frightened.
No, it wasn't fear. He was looking at me like he hated me. And he blames me for what happened to him last night.
I really don't believe that.
I want to go see him.
I think that's a good idea.
But it's not like I'm welcome at the hospital. I was suspended. And when I go around there, everybody looks at me like I'm Jack the Ripper. And, none of that would really bother me if I thought that he wanted to see me, but he would just start to scream at me again. Tell me to get away, to get out of his life, and I honestly don't think I could hear that again.
I'm sorry. I really am.
Could you help me, Rebecca?
I really don't think I...
Come with me. Just for a few minutes.
I can't.
Come on, talk to him. Talk to him. Let him know that I really just want him to get better. I mean, if I could just see him just for a few minutes, that would mean the world to me.
No. No. No, I'm not getting pulled into this again. That's how this all started in the first
Wait,
place.
now what all started in the... Well, what's going on here, Rebecca?
Hal, wait! Hal!
What's that all about? Why'd he just take off like that?
Because he's so angry he can't stand the sight of me. And I will never forgive you for that. You leaving me, baby?
Yeah, I am.
What, someone called while I was in the shower?
No, I called the office. Told him I needed a few days off.
What's going on, Hank? You didn't sleep all night. And now, where are you going?
Look, Sheila, I just can't stop thinking about RJ. I mean, the way he just slid into town without me ever knowing about it.
Well, how would you know?
Baby, he scammed his way into your life and into Rachel's, calling himself Jimmy Glover, without me ever knowing anything about it. The guy didn't even let me in on him being in town or out of prison.
Hank, he told you himself he was afraid of how you'd react.
Yeah, well, he should be afraid. I know I am. Look, I don't trust RJ. The man doesn't run without a game plan. And I've got to find out what it is.
And just how do you think you'll do that?
Well, for starters, I got to find out what he's been up to since they cut him loose from the joint. And I'll go by the folks, see if he's been around there harassing them since he's been out. I'm glad Nora's out of town so she doesn't have to deal with this. And baby, I wish you didn't have to deal with it either. What? What, you got a problem with what I'm doing?
No. I don't know enough about the situation or about RJ to know whether you're right or wrong.
What then?
Well, it's just what I asked before. What did happen between you?
Sheila, you know this story.
Not all of it. Not enough to understand why you distrust RJ so much that you have to go out on his trail like a bloodhound. Hank, what really went on between you and your brother?
I had no idea that your membership to the Wild Rose Club was a business investment.
Investment? How could it be an investment? I'm sorry, Miss Olenoff, I don't understand.
Gary tells me that you've become very good friends with various losers at the club.
Well, I like to think I'm as sympathetic as the next guy, but that's got nothing to do with business.
Oh, I think it does when you loan money to these poor slobs at a very attractive interest rate, I might add.
Well, I'm a soft touch. What can I tell you?
You're a loan shark.
Maybe that's what you'll call it.
That's what Asa will call it, and that's what the police will call it when I tell them.
Oh, now, does this mean you're here to tear up my membership card and throw it in my face?
That would be an ugly scene, and I hate ugly scenes, don't you?
Oh, yeah. Hate 'em. Just hate 'em.
There is a way that you could make things right with the Wild Rose Club.
I could.
I'm really not all that hard to please.
Oh, that's not what I'd say. I'd say you're a very demanding woman.
It depends on what I'm demanding.
Well, unless I'm way off my game, what you're demanding is a cut of my profits.
Nonsense.
Okay, well, what do you call it?
A donation to my wedding fund.
Now, how do I list that on my tax return?
Jimmy, is that short for James? The point is, I'm about to become Mrs. Asa Buchanan, the 8th Mrs. Asa Buchanan. And since history does have a tendency to repeat itself, there may be a 9th, even though she would be far inferior, Mrs. Asa Buchanan.
So what you're looking to do is to lay in a supply of umbrellas?
For that rainy day.
So what's the going rate on umbrellas these days?
It's very reasonable.
I'll be the judge of that.
Say 30%.
10.
20.
10.
20.
Off the top or off the bottom?
I have no interest in undercutting your operating expenses. 20% of your profits. And Asa doesn't need to know anything about this, does he?
No, he wouldn't understand.
Let's just say that he may have a different view than I about what constitutes bad weather and when one needs an umbrella.
Yeah, I'll bet.
Do we have a deal?
You keep that old man out of my path, and I think we both can be happy.
You know, it strikes me funny that you are operating your show out of Landview. It seems like your talents are much better suited for Atlantic City. Or did you get thrown out of Atlantic City?
I just wanted a change of scenery. And this cozy little town has other attractions.
Mom, when did you get back? Oh, just a little while ago. My case wrapped up early. Bo got called away on police business stuff, as usual, and I thought I might come over and see my darling daughter.
Great. I want to talk to you about Dad.
I'll be right there.
Okay. I love you.
I'm not sure I want to see you today. In fact, after last night, I'm not sure I want to see you at all.
Look, I know you're mad.
Yeah, but you have no idea how mad.
I think I do. If I had to do it all over again, I'd still have Bo run that check on your Uncle RJ.
Is that what you came here to tell me? You sure have some winning ways.
The guy was in town for weeks before he let his own family know he was here.
Well, that was his choice to make, not mine, and certainly not yours.
He lied about who he was to my sister and to you. Now, that may have been his choice to make, but it's not normal.
Okay, maybe it's not, but it was justified. He was afraid of how my father would react. And he didn't want Sheila to just...
To blow his cover?
No, to say anything to my father that might make him angry, which is exactly what happened when he found out.
Whoa, wait a minute. Hank knows RJ is in town?
Yeah. RJ came to Daddy and Sheila's apartment last night after you left.
Why? I mean, why did he suddenly decide to show himself?
He said because trying to keep all of this a secret was wearing me down. Now, I think that was pretty considerate.
If that's why he did it.
You know, you are impossible. Why can't you admit that you're wrong? You're wrong about RJ, and you were wrong to bring Bo into this.
No, I don't think I was wrong.
Then go.
No. Whatever I did, even if I did overreact, I did it because I love you and I don't want to see you hurt.
What did you say?
Debbie, the commissioner understands what you've been through, and he just wants to help you and find out who did this to you, okay? Could you just tell him what you told me before?
Okay. I got off my shift last night around 11:15, 11:30, and I was walking to my car.
Where was your car parked, Mrs. Dalton?
Parking lot C?
At the hospital.
Yeah. So, this guy came up behind me. He was wearing a ski mask. He was about 6 feet, maybe 170, 175.
Did you notice the clothing he was wearing?
He had on a windbreaker.
What color was it?
It was a dark color, maybe black or navy. He put his hand over my mouth, and he grabbed me. And he just picked me up right off the ground.
Go on.
And then he dragged me into the shadows. And he raped me. Oh, yeah, I got a cut on my arm when I hit the ground, a piece of glass or something. It bled, so I bandaged it when I got home. I'm sorry.
Did he say anything to you? Did you hear his voice?
He never made a sound.
What happened next?
Waited for him to leave.
Or did you see where he went?
No, I was afraid to look. I was afraid. No, I didn't see.
Okay. What happened then?
After I heard him leave, I got up and I went home and I took a shower. It's so stupid. I mean, I'm trained in this. I know what I was thinking. I mean, I just wanted it to be over. I couldn't deal with it, so I just washed it away. God, I'm so stupid.
It's okay. It's okay. Debbie, no one is to judge if you were right or wrong. Okay? It's what you did. Please, don't make this any harder on yourself than it must be already. All right?
Thank you.
Forensics is doing a search of the rape site. I made an appointment for a deputy to get a doctor's exam if there's some evidence.
Yeah. Not too likely, though. You did great work.
Thanks.
How are you feeling? Do you have any idea at all who attacked you?
Yeah. I didn't see him, you understand. I didn't see his face at all, but I'm pretty sure.
Yes.
Earlier in the evening, I had a couple of... Well, he brought his father in. His father had a coronary, and he and I had a couple of arguments, kind of, about him seeing his father. You can ask people. They saw the ER staff, all kinds of people. They saw us argue. They saw how angry he was at me.
Yes, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. How angry who was?
Manning. Todd Manning. It was Todd Manning who raped me. I'm almost positive.
You told him that you kissed me.
It was a kiss. You and me. It just happened, Rebecca.
Hal never should have found out.
Yeah, but he did, so what? I mean, is that why he didn't say anything when he just saw us together?
I told you he was furious with me.
Yeah, well, he didn't seem furious to me. He just seemed kind of resigned, you know? That you and I are together. You okay?
No. No, I'm not okay. Hal broke off the engagement. He doesn't want anything more to do with me.
He doesn't.
Oh, great, you're laughing at me.
No. No, absolutely not. I could never laugh at you, Rebecca. But I can't help but be happy about this.
Todd, this is the worst thing that's ever happened to me.
No, look, it may feel like that now.
No, I love Powell. I wanted to spend the rest of my life with him, and you've done everything you could to stop that from happening.
You're fooling yourself, Rebecca.
What?
You are. You just think that you love Powell. The only reason you went out with him in the first place is because he's safe. Those feelings you have for me, those feelings scare you. They're deep. And they're powerful. You love me, Rebecca. You said that once. I've known that for a long time now. You've known that. Now Powell knows that.
That's not true.
The sooner that you admit it, Rebecca, the sooner that you own up to it, the sooner you and I can be together.
We are never going to be together. Why won't you listen? I'm going to the library.
Listen, Rebecca, the library can wait.
I need to get away from you. I need to find Powell.
Look, I'm gonna go to the hospital and I'm gonna check in with my dad, and then I'm gonna come back here and I'm going to find you.
Don't.
I'm going to make you understand. You and I belong together. I'll help you.
Help me. Let me go.
I will help you learn not to be afraid of your feelings. You'll see.
No, I really don't know. I'll have to call you from there. No, that goes to Bo Buchanan. And then you contact me. The others go to Kate Noonan. Right. Thanks. All right, listen, I'm going to miss my flight unless I get out of here.
There are plenty of flights to Chicago. If you miss that one, there'll be another.
Look, if I leave now, I'll get to Joliet before my contact leaves
And
for
what
the day.
exactly are you going to ask this contact in person that you can't ask over the phone?
Listen, Sheila, I need to know stuff that people just don't give you that information over the phone.
And what is that?
Well, for starters, when R.J. got out, where he went, who he was tight with when he was inside. And I've got to hit the streets, too. You know, just to check out some of the places that he hung out.
I don't understand what you expect to learn.
Look, I got to find out why he walked into my life right now.
Hank, look, you never did tell me what happened between you and R.J. There's got to be more than what you've told me. I've never seen you like this, honey.
Look, there is, Sheila, but I just don't have time to talk about it right
Hank,
now, okay?
please, look, whatever R.J. did to make you so angry is in the past. Look, why can't you just leave it there?
Sheila, I will call you tonight.
Hank, you're scaring me.
Look, don't be scared. I will call you. You know I love you, Sheila.
No. Wait. You what me? Love? Did you say love? I know you didn't say love.
Yeah, I did. And it's true.
Get out of here. You love me?
Look, I didn't expect for it to come out that way. I just opened my mouth and there it was. You don't have to say anything.
I'm not sure I can.
Now, I want you to move in with me, too.
Whoa, Ben. Slow down.
All right, say you think about it, all right?
Okay. I'll, Look, don't get me wrong. I am flattered. And I am touched. And
you're surprised.
yes.
And, still mad at me?
Yes. Ben, you went behind my back. You did an incredibly sneaky thing. And then you pulled this macho, I'm gonna protect the little woman routine, and you wonder if I'm mad at you.
You forgot about the I love you part. And the move in with me part.
No. No, I didn't.
Good. So, you think you'll have an answer for me by the time I pick you up?
Pick me up.
We have a date tonight, remember?
A date, yeah. I remember. No, I promise you, I didn't forget. It's just, after last night, Look, the man who says that he loves me and that he wants me to move in with him, he can't treat me like that.
And he won't. Ever again. Talk about this some more when I pick you up.
Deal?
Deal.
Mom, why aren't you here? There. It is about time. You would not believe what has been going... Uncle RJ. Please, come in.
No, that's okay. I just stopped over to say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Yeah. I'm leaving town.
Keys, there you are. There you are. Purse, 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 purse. You old bag. You stay where I put you from now on. Alex!
Nora!
I was just on my way out.
It has just been ages since you and I have had a girl-to-girl family chat.
Well, that's because we're not family, and as far as girls go, I'll have to decide whether that offends my political sensibilities or eases my terror of advancing years. In the meantime,
You are so precise. A function of your profession, I guess. Our profession. You and I are only moments away from being family. After all, we're both engaged to Buchanan men. Although I think it's a... Well, to be frank, I think Asa and I will probably be married before you and Bo could even agree on a date.
well, I mean, that's, we are kind of engaged in the loosest of definitions. Not that that matters much.
Well, you know, I could give you some tips. Really, I don't mind. I could write a book. Methods for getting a Buchanan to commit to a wedding date.
I don't want a wedding date. I really appreciate your offer, though. Alex, I have to go.
Then I won't keep you much longer. Then.
Okay.
I don't know if you've had an opportunity to catch up on the press coverage of my little success in helping Bo apprehend the notorious Bulge Hackman, but why, as a result, I've become the toast of the town, small though it may be.
Yes, I've heard. Congratulations on being toast.
You're so funny. Anyway, as a result, Asa and I have had very little time for the family, and when tonight opened up, I immediately thought of Bo and you.
How incredibly thoughtful of you. I just don't,
So won't you two please drop by Alexandria for dinner around 7 o'clock, say?
Alexandria?
Oh, you wouldn't believe the changes I've been able to make in that stuffy old mansion of Asa's.
Oh, I'm sure.
It'll be such fun. Oh, and by the way, it's black tie, so try and look your best.
So, is it true? You're still wearing his ring. It is true, then. Powell's free?
I don't think that's any of your business, Julie.
When I hear news that someone like Powell Lord is free, I make it my business. He's nice, he's adorable, and he's rich.
Leave her alone, Julie.
Powell, hi. I was just on my way to class. I hope we can see each other soon.
Powell, wait. Wait a minute. Just... You stood up for me. Like you used to.
Well, she was just being nasty. So.
Well, you wouldn't have done that if you didn't. If you didn't still care about me. Powell, please tell me I'm right. You still love me, don't you?
That's right, it's me. Lock up your children. Black Death is here. Now, don't start yapping to me about no suspension, okay? I'm just here because I need to see my father.
Didn't anyone...
No, nobody stopped me. I just walked right in here like a free man. Imagine that. Now, what room is he in?
He's not.
What are you talking about? He just had a heart attack. What? What are you trying to tell me? Is my father dead?
Coming to Landview, that was a big mistake.
No, don't say that. I'm glad you came to town.
Yeah, well, too bad your daddy doesn't feel the same way. Our little reunion last night was a disaster.
Look, he just needs a little time.
No, he's never going to believe that I'm trying my best to do the right thing. And I don't really blame him.
I do.
Like, all my ideas about us being one big happy family again, forget that.
No, I won't give up on that dream. Daddy will come around. Look, after all the time you guys haven't seen each other, I think I know him a little better than you. He will see things
Rachel, it's a
clearly.
real sweet idea, but it's just not gonna happen.
You can't leave. You can't just disappear on me, not after I've gotten to know you.
It's nice to think somebody'd notice.
Please. Please don't go.
Ooh, I'm sorry.
Mom.
Oh, my God. RJ.
Yes. Yes, I still love you. You mean more to me than I ever thought someone could, and I don't know how I'm going to get over that, but I have to see things the way they are, Rebecca, not the way I wish they were. You don't love me. Not the way two people are supposed to love each other. They want to build a life together. I have faced the truth, Rebecca. It's over. And now you have to accept that too.
Answer me. Did my father die?
No, he's been transferred to a Chicago hospital.
Well, why didn't you just say that? For crying out loud! Say what you're thinking, huh? Wait, who made this decision? How come nobody got it to tell me, huh?
Bang!
What are you doing here?
What are you doing here?
He's just saving us the trouble of going down to his room to question him.
Question me about what? I already told you everything I know about Alice Henson.
This isn't about Alice Henson, Todd.
Look, I'm busy. My father's been moved. I'd really like to find
This
out.
is about another rape. One that took place last night.
Where?
Right on the hospital parking lot, just like the last one. Not long after you were seen here at the hospital. Maybe you remember it.
What's with you, Bo? Why am I your only suspect?
We'd like you to come down to the police station, Todd. You want to do that willingly or the hard way?